It's nice to be back in the studio again.
Yes, it is.
I'm
so glad to be here in person.
Here in person, drinking coffee, iced coffee, because now 'tis the season for iced drinks and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I had made cold brew, but iced coffee is just as good.
Yeah. I don't mind. I do not mind at all.
I'm glad you enjoy it nonetheless. All right. Let's dive into this.
Okay.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the General Geekery Podcast, the podcast where we geek out about all the things we love to geek out about, with no remorse, no regrets, and with all the enthusiasm at our disposal. Yeah, that was a big spike. Wow.
Indeed. That is what we do.
As always, this is Donald Kaczynski, your resident coffee ninja by day and your actor, gamer, streamer by night. And with me, as always, you wanted to take the reins on this introduction?
Sure, yes. I am this is Hannah Kubiak. I am a undertaker by day, but by night I do something much more sinister. I write, I act, I direct, and I podcast.
I thought you were going to say necromancy. And I was like...
No. Being a professional creative is much, much more sinister than being an undertaker, definitely.
You know what? I can agree with that.
I certainly get more flack for it.
Oh, yeah, that's... Oh, the life. Mm-hmm. Oh, the life.
Oh, the life.
But, yeah, speaking of flack and all that, well, we're talking specifically, like, social media flack, but it goes kind of, like, into the topic that we're going into today. We haven't talked about a show in a while.
Yeah, no.
And, you were the one that suggested this, and I hadn't seen the show, and I'm very happy that you suggested this show, because I fell in love with it.
It's ridiculous.
It's so good. So, today we're talking about the Amazon Prime original series, The Boys.
Yep.
So, for those who are not familiar with this show, The Boys originally was originally a comic book, like a monthly comic run from 2006 to 2012. I looked this up for reference for the episode. And it was recently adapted into a television series for Amazon Prime in, I want to say, fall of last year. So
sounds about right.
Yeah, so it's fairly recent, and my God, there's so much to talk about with this show. First of all, just to get things out of the way, I love Carl Urban as Butcher. Like, I love watching him on screen. I have fallen in love with him. So that's that for me. But first impressions, the first 10 minutes took me completely by surprise when I was watching it. And I've been watching it the past 2 days leading up to us recording because I wanted it to be as fresh in my mind as it could. And just like the first 10 minutes were like so jarring. For those that haven't seen the show, spoilers, but basically our main character, Hugh Campbell, we all call him Huey, played by Jack Quaid, Dennis Quaid's son. I found. I'm like, oh, cool. And he was basically just with his girlfriend and everything like that. She ends up getting vaporized, like destroyed at high speed by one of the heroes of the universe of this particular world, A-Train, and Huey has found himself covered in his girlfriend's blood. The only thing left remaining are her two hands that he's holding on to. I'm like, that was a visual. I'm like,
that was terrible.
I'm like,
yeah.
Wow.
Oh man.
And the amount of time they let that moment sink in, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You've got me.
So, A-Train is a superhero in this world who can run super, super fast. So he basically was running somewhere, wasn't looking where he was going, and ran into this girl, and the speed he was moving at just tore her apart.
Yeah, and I'm like, Okay, I have not really seen a death like that on television before. All right, let's keep it coming. Let's see what we got.
Yep, and it got weirder from there. That's not even the weirdest death that happened, but we'll get to that.
Oh.
Do you know which one I'm referring to?
Either translucent or...
Translucent, and the way that Popclaw killed that guy.
That was like... I'm like, how does brain process?
Actually, that was probably the first episode that I saw of this, because... I think it was this episode. My roommate was watching The Boys, and I walked in and I was like, "Ooh, Carl Urban, what is this?" It's about these superheroes, and I was watching, and then like Popclaw did her thing and murdered that guy, and I was like, "This looks interesting."
That scene took me by surprise too. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Just damn. So So basically how the superhero structure works in this world, basically all the superheroes in America are they're basically heroes for hire. They're like, they're corporatized
It's a
heroes.
business. It's a business.
It's a business. For those, like, as I was watching this, I was drawing parallels to so many other different superhero shows, like in, like, reels, like, in comics and everything like that. In the back of my mind, a couple sources that came up was like, okay, so in the back of my mind, I'm like, I got My Hero Academia coming up, I have Tiger and Bunny coming up, like, I have a little bit of, like, Watchmen in there with the banter and, like, just the darkness and grittiness of it sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this, and I'm like, this is addicting. This is great.
Yeah, one of the things that I find interesting about that is just how immoral these superheroes are. Like, people admire them and even idolize them, but they're just awful people, which I think just goes to show you that, like, the idea of a superhero being a vigilante, it relies on the fact that this person wants to do good and wants to save people and doesn't necessarily want praise or acclaim, but just wants to use their power for good. But if you make it into a business and you, what did you say, corporatize it?
Yeah, you basically just slap a corporate logo on it, you make it a brand.
Yeah. And when that happens, it just goes to hell, you know?
Yeah,
because then it's sort of like, nope, we're not protecting people anymore. We're protecting our business. And like that whole thing where what's his name? The like evil Captain America, as I think of him as.
Oh, Homelander.
Homelander and
basically a mix between Captain America and Superman.
Yeah, Homelander and Princess Maeve, is that her name?
Yeah.
They were on an airplane.
Oh, the airplane scene.
Yeah, they were on an airplane, and something happened. Like, wasn't it his fault or their fault that the plane was going to crash or something?
Indirectly, yes. So
okay.
So the event we're talking about in the show happened around episode 4, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, a plane was hijacked by terrorists over international waters. Mm-hmm. So the superheroes that are owned by the corporation, I forget the name of the Vought. Vaught's the name of the Vaught's the name of the corporation. They send Princess Maeve, who is basically this universe's
Wonder
Woman, basically, mm-hmm. and Homelander, who is basically this universe's Superman, except more of an arrogant dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
To the utmost degree.
He can fly. He has super strength and laser beam eyes, right?
And he portrays himself as humble as apple pie, but underneath it all, he just hates everybody.
All American hero. Gosh, I hate that guy. But anyway, they go onto this plane, and I think something that they do, really screw something up.
They neutralized the terrorists, but when they got to the cockpit, I think Homelander neutralized the terrorists in a way where it took out the guidance control system for the plane.
Right. So they took out the terrorists, but the plane was still going to crash, and they caused it. And so then they were like Homelander was like, nope, people can't know that this was our fault. So we just gotta leave. And then Princess Maeve was like, no, we have to save as many people as possible. And people were like trying to give them their children and be like, just save my kid. And Homelander's like, no, there can't be any survivors because then people will know that we're not perfect.
Yeah,
and they left them.
Yeah. I'm like, dang. After going through every single option, you thought it'd be more of a thing, but Homelander's like, okay, cut. Sorry, folks. We got to run. We got to run that again. We got to cut this on the film. Take 5. That's basically the.
Yeah, it's like goodbye. Yeah,
basically the attitude he had.
Yeah, like his image was more important than human life.
He is the textbook definition of a superpowered sociopath. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching during this. I'm like,
oh, for sure.
I'm like,
although
no, can we not?
Is he in fact a psychopath? Because he can appear to be this awesome, charming person.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Although sociopaths can do that too.
Yeah, that is very true. I feel like he's borderlining on psychopathic, but he's
definitely a narcissist. That's what I know.
Absolutely. But I think he's more on like the sociopathic thing right now because of like all the stuff that's happening, and he's constantly eyeing like the baby of like the woman that he works for. He's like, I want to kill you.
Yeah, because he's got like some sort of weird like mother-son relationship with her that's also kind of Oedipal or whatever.
The Oedipus complex is real with this man.
The Oedipus complex is strong with this one.
Because apparently, like, if I remember, like, in the context of like the conversations he had with some of the people in the show, he basically grew up in a lab. He didn't have a mother figure growing up.
Yep.
Because as it turns out, as part of a weird conspiracy, superheroes are not born the way they are. They are basically given a special little drug called Compound V that the boys, we forgot to mention the titular group yet, but we'll get to that, are trying to discover and expose because two of the main characters are trying to get revenge for the loss of the loves of their life.
Yep. Yeah, Butcher and Huey.
Huey.
Yep. So yeah, they're trying to get revenge and expose these superheroes as being evil corporate entities and not the heroes that they seem to be. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that it mostly circulates around this Compound V, which like it causes people to causes a mutation, right, when it's given to people that makes them into these superheroes. And then it also is kind of like a super drug that they take sometimes. They're like supers who are addicted to this Compound V, and like A-Train, it makes him really, 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 really fast. And like their suspicion is that he was basically high on this drug when he ran through Huey's girlfriend.
I mean, the implications are there, basically.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Lots of superhero drugs.
So there's a lot to unpack with this show, and my God, like, and if there's one thing like I think that keeps you hooked in throughout everything, it's the banter between the characters.
Mm-hmm. The banter.
I am a person that loves my banter in dark, gritty shows like that has the light of comedy, and my God, the core four that make up The Boys. Mm-hmm. All right, let's run them down. We talked about Huey. He's our main protagonist. He has a little bit of a social awkwardness to him, but he's also
so
part.
Cute, though.
He's adorable. He's like, I'm like, you just want to like give him a hug and everything like that, and tell him everything's gonna be okay. But like, the transformation he goes under and like that, he still has a moral compass at the end of it all, which is just great. Also, like, his facial expressions are some of the best to watch throughout the show.
Yeah.
He's got this distinguishable, like, wide-eyed expression that conveys like 7 different emotions.
Yeah, he's got like a very expressive face. I love it.
What funny? Okay, bad thing for me. When I first saw him on screen and everything like that, I was looking at him and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, is that Frankie Muniz? Because he looks like the kid from Malcolm in the Middle.
It's the eyebrows, I think.
The eyebrows and the wide eyes. That's what it for me. I was like, oh, never mind.
As you know, I love a nice traumatized protagonist. I definitely do. And like the thing where he has that mission that he has to do, where they want him, where Butcher, the first mission he does is to go and plant a bug in the Vought headquarters, and he's just this normal guy. He just works at Radio Shack or something.
No, he I don't think it's a radio. I think it's like a neighborhood, like audio and like a neighborhood AV shop.
Right. Yeah. So it's basically like that. He's kind of a tech guy.
Yeah.
And he goes in because he has a reason to go in, because A-Train accidentally, quotes, well, it was accidental, but it was also just... Anyway, he went to Vought as sort of okay, I'm gonna, make a statement and say that Vought and A-Train were not responsible for my girlfriend's death and stuff. So to go there and shake his hand and everything and say, yeah, it's okay. But he that was all a ruse, obviously, because how could you not be mad about that? You can't just say, oh, it's okay. And then they write him a check as well. They wrote him compensation.
Yeah, like $40,000 or something like that, and then he tore it in half afterwards.
Yeah. But the whole the everyman hero kind of thing, where they're just thrown into this situation and they have no background whatsoever in fighting superheroes or whatever. But he's going into the building and just freaking out, hyperventilating and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, buddy.
I mean, I think we would probably have the same kind of experience.
Oh, I definitely would.
So on the flip coin of that is probably one of my favorite characters to watch in this entire show, and I mentioned it before, Billy Butcher, a.k.a. the angriest Brit I've ever seen, played by Carl Urban.
Yep.
If you aren't familiar with who Carl Urban is, he is, you may know him as Bones from the reboot of Star Trek, the Star Trek movies, but he was A. Mayor from Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
So.
And something else. I feel like there was something else he was in that I know of.
I'm sure there's more.
He's in a lot of stuff.
The man's chameleonic, but my God, he is a joy to watch in this. I'm a man who loves the British way of swearing and everything like that, because it's almost no holds barred with that dialect and that way of speaking, and the way he says it, I'm like, my God,
because he's Cockney, so
incredibly Cockney. Look, Huey. Look, it's just like that scene in The Matrix, right? You got the blue pill where you can basically just go home. Just do your oath thing, shake hands, forget it ever happened, and just go ahead and piss on Robin's grave. or you take the red pill and you do this damn thing. Or was it the other way around? I actually can't even remember. and it's kind of funny. On first meeting with Huey is like, you look like someone who's about to do a very bad porn parody of The Matrix. I'm like, how many references are we gonna make in this show?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So yeah, this man, 8 years prior to where the main story takes place, love of his life, his wife Becca, apparently, well, it's pretty apparent, but there's still more to this that we probably don't know yet. Was raped by Homelander and went missing, presumed dead.
Yep. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, and he's just been on a warpath.
Yep, just after this guy.
The Mad Dog has been set loose.
Yep.
And apparently he was part of some government group or vigilante group or something like that prior to this. Mm-hmm. It was named The Boys. Mm-hmm. And they were basically holding superheroes accountable for a lot of stuff until an incident happened where the former head's grandchildren were basically vaporized before their eyes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
They mention it every now and again, but like they show the woman in like the final episode of season 1, and they basically explain how that happened, and it's like, oh shit, yeah.
Gosh, the corruption goes deep.
It goes deep in this society.
Yeah. And the other, there's 2 more people.
Yep.
There's 2 more of the boys.
Frenchie.
Frenchie.
This pompous, womanizing, egotistical, and just fun-loving guy. He's such an asshole, but I love him. Like, he's a guy you love to hate, but he's got, like, such a charming personality and just, like, way of talking and everything like that. The banter between him and MM are so good. And, okay, I'm not gonna lie. I have a soft spot in my heart for the 4th guy, MM, otherwise known as Mother's Milk.
Oh, yeah.
He's like the realest guy, and he's the total mom of the group to Huey and everything like that.
Yeah.
And he just bitches and complains about everything like that, and just like the way he just describes like everybody at times, giving them all these different nicknames on like separate occasions. And I actually wrote this down. He called hold on, I'm just looking at.
You're bringing up a list of nicknames.
Yeah, because there's so many nicknames like they give Huey.
Yeah. He's the guy who has a like prison rehabilitation program or something. Like get guys off guys on parole, keep them straight or whatever.
And he's like, now sign your John Hancock at the bottom so you can play on the ping pong table because you're interrupting everybody's time. He's like that stern mother figure that you see in like your everyday situational like sitcom or something like that.
Yep. Yeah.
And like, and he calls Huey he calls Huey by a bunch of different names at times to like describe him. Like he calls him a Stephen Hawking looking guy, a white Steve Urkel, which I lost my shit over. I'm like, oh my god, he is
white Steve Urkel,
and the Rain Man of fucking people over. I'm like, where does he come up with this shit? This is great. Gosh.
Yeah, there's like, do you remember? I love this kind of those banter characters who give people weird nicknames. Like, do you remember in Lost?
Yeah. Sawyer.
Yep. Yeah, he would give people nicknames all the time, and I think the most spot-on nickname was when he would call Locke Mr. Clean. I lost it.
It was so good.
Mr. Clean.
But yeah, it's just the banter and all of them like that. And there's this vigilante group that's like, they all got the same goal and everything like that. Like, they can't stand each other, especially Frenchie and Mother's Milk. Like, they go into blows at least twice.
Yep.
But, like, it's so dysfunctional. But, my God, they are entertaining to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the flip side of that, you have the 7.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
All right, let's dive into this.
Yeah.
So, the 7 in the universe of the boys they're basically like the corporate Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what they are.
Oh, yeah, there's Homelander,
Maeve, Translucent, he's the invisible guy. Yep, he's the token invisible guy.
Yep, invisible, and he also has like impenetrable skin or something.
Yeah, basically it's like his skin, because it's impenetrable and because of its composition, allows him to like become like invisible. Right. Yeah. Because of like sunbeams and everything like that. It's very very confusing. Apparently, he tried explaining it to Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Fallon couldn't understand it. But what a weird cameo that was. Yeah. You also got the Deep.
Oh, right. I was going to say Nature Boy, but I knew that wasn't right.
The stereotypical Aquaman guy, which I gotta say, he
is probably, after Homelander, I find him the most despicable.
Oh, yeah, but, like, just the scenes he's in are just so hilarious. Like, I was rewatching the scene earlier when he's trying to save a dolphin from, like, their universe's SeaWorld, and like, you got the Spice Girls playing in the background, and then he has to stop because of like a police blockade and everything like that. The dolphin goes shooting through the windshield, and all of a sudden, If You Want to Be My Lover is like playing in slow motion and everything like that, and the dolphin's looking at him like, why? If you want to be my lover. And it's just all this, and as soon as it all goes slow mo and I'm listening to the lyrics, I'm losing it. I'm like, too. I can't. And then the dolphin gets run over by a truck. I'm like, and you just see his face, and it's like, fuck. No.
Okay. There's that. There's that guy.
Black Noir.
Black Noir.
He's very silent. He's very ninja-esque. We don't know too much about him.
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten as much screen time as like the other 7, though.
No, he's like yeah.
It's very quiet, mysterious.
Yeah. Like Spider Noir.
I'm so glad we came to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
If he turns out that he's played and voiced by Nicolas Cage, I'm losing it.
Oh goodness.
I will lose it. I'm like, oh my god. And then you have probably the only decent hero.
Wait a minute, that was only 5.
Homelander, Maeve,
Translucent, The Deep, Black Noir.
Oh, A-Train. We forgot.
Oh yeah, A-Train, the murderer, drug addict.
Yeah, we almost forgot A-Train who basically started all this.
Yep.
And then we go to the only decent hero in the show, Starlight. Which, oh man, like her upbringing basically just got my stomach turning because basically, like, she said she had to be in, like, superhero beauty pageants and everything like that. I'm like, oh my god, she got honey boo-booed.
Yeah.
No!
Like, yeah. But she was pretty well adjusted for being a superhero. Like, at least her family was supportive of her. Even if they did send her to pageants and stuff, which I don't know whether she wanted to do that or not.
She really didn't. Like, it was more like her mother was, like, pushing all that and stuff like that, and she was pushing, like, the Christian agenda, as it turns out, like, from a later episode.
Yeah.
But, my god, like, she's such a goody two-shoes, like, she wants to do good and everything like that, and then she gets thrust into this position, and, like, she sees the behind-the-scenes BS of, like, everything that happens, and...
Yeah.
You see it through her eyes, and I'm like, and we're all just, like, just as disgusted as she is with some of this, especially with the, sexual harassment from the Deep.
Exactly. I was like, didn't she, like, on her first day of work there, wasn't she harassed by, like, on, like, 3 separate occasions?
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, something like that.
People.
Because of the Deep, and then the revelation that Translucent likes to use his translucent power to spy on women in the women's bathroom.
Yep.
Among other things, because he's a massive fucking pervert.
Yep.
But karma comes up in the end for some of them in the best way, and in probably one of the more gruesome deaths I've ever seen in a superhero medium.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's talk about that scene with Translucent.
Yeah.
So, the end of the first episode, basically Translucent, through a series of coincidence, because I'll just say that, he figures out that Huey planted the bug on behalf of Butcher. He goes to where Huey's work is, and because Huey's working the night shift, and he's basically about to kill him until Butcher intervenes, and they manage to incapacitate him and capture him.
Yeah.
And Butcher has to convince Huey, he's seen our faces, we gotta kill him. And that's when Frenchie comes in, and they're trying to figure out how to kill him, because his impenetrable skin makes him impenetrable. So,
yeah, hence the name.
Yeah, and Frenchie, in his infinite wisdom, after watching, I want to say Animal Planet, because they were looking at turtles.
Oh yeah.
Decided we're going to incapacitate him. We're going to shove a good amount of C4 right up his ass. We're going to blow him up. Because he's soft on the inside and hard on the outside, just like a turtle.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so... Yeah, because he wasn't impervious to knockout gas, right? So they knocked him out.
They used his weakness of, like, because he's susceptible to electricity and shit.
Yeah.
So they shocked him into unconsciousness and then did it.
Oh, man.
And like, Translucent, who's normally, like, this cocky guy and everything like that, just normally he just goes so cowardly and starts
begging,
spilling the beans. I'm like, this is good.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
And then Huey's ultimately the one that does it.
Yeah. Oh, man. That messed me up.
I'm like, that scene was... I'm like, damn.
I was like, no, really? Oh my gosh. Like, he gave him a lot of chances. He was like, don't go or I'm going to have to blow you up. If you leave, I'm going to push this button. Don't leave. He's like, no, you're not going to. And he, like, tried to call his bluff, and
And he keeps looking at the sign of the child, like the bathroom child, saying, "Keep your hands clean."
Oh,
wash
right.
your hands. And it's just focusing on keep your hands clean, and then Huey just does it, and it's like blood and it's blood and guts everywhere.
Did he get covered in guts and goo again? Yeah.
Well, that's the second time he gets covered in guts and glue, because the first time it was covered in his own girlfriend's.
Yep.
I made myself sad.
That's horrible. Oh, I can't imagine.
And then his dad's trying to be, like, reassuring everything like that in the most, like, passive way, because, like, his dad's treating him like he's 7 years old.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Played by,
Simon Pegg.
Played by Simon Pegg, who was also in Star Trek.
Indeed. Funny thing, actually, I actually read this when I was doing, like, background knowledge with, from the comic. Apparently, Huey's character in the comic was actually based on, like, the likeness of Simon Pegg.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
well, that's a fun throwback.
Yeah. So, and how they got Pegg in as Huey's dad, I'm like, that is a weird Easter egg.
Yeah.
That is a weird Easter egg, but I love it nonetheless.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So yeah, like, and like I said, I binge watched like the entire series in like the past 2 days, and man, there's a lot to unpack. One. A lot of gruesome deaths, but sort of satisfying. Oh, we haven't mentioned the Popflaw one, have we?
Yeah, I don't know how to explain that one, though. Watch the show.
Basically some of the weirdest erotic asphyxiation I've ever seen on TV.
Yep. And when you do that with someone with super strength, weird things happen.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought something a lot more gruesome was gonna happen, but I'm like, that's honestly more tame than what I thought was gonna happen.
Really? I didn't see it coming at all. I mean, I was kind of like, something weird is going down.
Because isn't her power to like produce spikes from her body or something like that?
She's super strong, and then she has like the little. She's called Popclaw, so she has like the claws like Wolverine.
Right.
But then she also, like A-Train, because they were dating, they took Compound V together all the time. They were both druggies.
They were on that slippery slope.
And she was on the drugs, and then some dude showed up. I don't remember who it was.
It was her landlord.
Oh, her landlord, yes, and yes.
And because she's in such a drugged up state.
Yeah, in the midst of some erotic stuff. Yeah, she smushed him. We're gonna keep it quiet on that, but yeah, like it must be seen to believed. It's all I can really say. It must be believed to be seen.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed. But yeah, the grittiness on this show is like, like they really like leave no order with the deaths. Like,
just like, oh yeah.
Especially when it comes to like whenever Homelander like uses his heat vision against something.
Yeah.
And they like show like the gritty aftermath of like what happens on certain things, and I'm like, that's good. That is so good.
Oh, gosh.
Because I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, when have they ever really shown like the after effects of like when somebody gets hit like that in Superman? Because Superman usually always use that against like superpowered beings or something like that, or he's holding back because he doesn't want to kill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm seeing this, I'm like, okay, I understand now.
Yeah.
Especially like in the last episode with the hostage situation, and he goes right through the eyes, through the skull, and you can actually just peer into it and like.
Did they have a shot where it went like you could see through the eyeballs?
Yep.
Oh gosh.
I saw it. I saw it. I'm like, that is such a good detail.
Oh man.
I'm like,
fun fact, man. Because of my work, I have seen the inside of a human skull.
Did it peer back at you?
No.
Okay.
Fortunately not.
Peer into the abyss.
Anyway, what do you think... So this show, what does it say to us? Like, what can we take from it? Like, what does it tell us about power? I feel like it says something about power.
It says a lot about, like, power, corruption, and, like... Mm-hmm. And also, like, mass media, like, manipulation, stuff like that. Because, like, this is...
Yep.
This is very... they originally, from what I read, the original comics like took place over like a number of years. Like that started in like the 80s and ended in like 2004 or something like that. Obviously, they adapted it to a modern setting.
Yeah.
But just like the minute, like the portraying of like them as like all these heroes and everything like that is like one, it's like people's obsession with like idols of entertainment, like and people abusing that power, and like the old Spider-Man quote, I'm going to bring it up: with great power comes with great responsibility. We see none of that in here. You got a thought?
Yeah, just sort of the stuff about people use their influence to push their own agenda, whether that be like a religious agenda or a political agenda or like a social agenda. I don't know. I don't know if it's right or wrong, because we do have freedom of speech, but do we have the freedom to, like, it's like, sure, you can say that, but you're gonna get flack for it. Like, it depends on your audience, really. Like, I think that, you know, what's her name? Starlight?
Yeah.
And she did it was like at some sort of,
oh yeah,
it was at some sort of like Christian conference or something.
Yeah.
And they'd given her this script about like abstinence and stuff, and she went off script and said something different and more progressive than what they had told her to say.
Right.
And I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, it has to do with where you are, really, because if she had been at like some different kind of rally, maybe what she said would have been fine, you know. Like, it just depends on who is pulling your strings.
Right.
Like,
and
if you have power and someone is using that power to get to their own agenda, like,
yeah,
regardless of what you believe, manipulating people is a slippery slope.
And it's kind of unfortunate, like, it's not to that degree, like, in the show, but, like, I know a lot of situations, like, where, like, that kind of thing is, like, it happens online all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you speak an opinion about everything like that because, like, you're fed up with something like that, and, like, you either get love or hate or flack in, like, every direction in spades.
Yup. And, yeah, that just annoys me so much.
So, yeah, there's a social commentary, like, in that, especially with, like, Starlight's, like, character progression.
Yep. Yeah.
Through that.
Like, what's it? The Deep, in the first episode, told her that, like, he's like, yeah, if you're going to make it, you gotta, like, he basically told her to sleep her way to the top.
Pretty much.
It's like, yeah, and I was just thinking to myself, wow, nothing has changed. Even if you're super powerful, you still are expected to basically, like, compromise yourself and what you might want and do things that you find totally odious to get to where you want to be in society. And I'm not saying this doesn't happen to men as well, but it's historically happened to women all the time. Like, in order to get a political office or something like that, to get a political office, to get a promotion, to get, like, things that men have because they're men. And, like, she made it to the 7. She's part of the 7. But then they're still saying, nope, you know, you gotta do as we do, you know, and you gotta, like, pay your dues. It's kind of like a you didn't earn it yet kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna earn it, like, to earn it, you have to basically do what I want.
Yeah,
and what you want doesn't matter because you're new and, like...
Yep, stupid...
evil people. I hate it.
Yep, stupid, evil people, BS, like, mixed with, like, real world, like... And it does happen in the real world, and it does make me sick.
Yep, yeah.
But my God, just seeing the moments where she comes so righteous and everything like that, I'm like, okay, go girl, go. Yeah, I know you got your heart broke by Huey and everything like that, but he had to do his own thing, and I don't fault him for it, but I don't fault you either. You guys just ended up in the wrong situation at the wrong time.
Yeah. That whole relationship was interesting too. Just like,
and Huey was about to quit. He found happiness. He found happiness, but he was in too deep.
Yeah. I don't exactly remember what happened there, and maybe we can leave that for people watching it.
Yep. We're not going to go too much into that, but yeah, like, so with all that wrapped up, I highly recommend this show.
As do I. It's not for the squeamish, though. It
is definitely not for the squeamish. Very rated MA. There are like slight scenes of nudity, a lot of sexual situations, and a lot of
strange sexual situations as well with superhuman creatures.
Yeah, I didn't. Excuse my language on this, but I did not need to see a breastfeeding scene. I did not need to see that.
Nope. I'd forgotten about that and bleached it from my mind until you mentioned it just now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go sit in the corner.
The Oedipus complex is strong with this one.
But yeah, like, even with all that, just like, I just like the progression of like just the characters and everything like that. Yep. Especially for like the shitty ones, like you get to see the comeuppance. Especially for Deep, where he hits the lowest he could possibly go.
Yep.
At following all of that, I'm just
what is it, the Miranda Trench or whatever? The deepest point in the world. Yeah.
He pretty much hits that. he pretty much hits the absolute rock bottom because of the Starlight thing. He's transferred out. He's transferred to Sandusky, Ohio. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's the Mariana Trench.
Mariana Trench. Okay.
But you know what that reminds me of actually is like the scandals in the Catholic Church with all of those priests who were like messing around with young people, and they just get sent to another diocese like Doubt, that play Doubt.
Yep.
They were like, oh, we think he did this bad thing, but we're just going to send him to another diocese. And, like, yeah, as a religious person, I say that that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, don't protect them. It's not good enough. Just chuck him out. Replace him with someone better, with morals and a spine and, like,
we replace him with we replace him with that universe's Batman.
Yep. Oh man.
But that's probably going to be like an entire laundry list of situations in and of itself. But
ugh, makes me so mad.
Yeah. But I mean, all right. If let me put it this way, guys. If you love witty banter, if you love like superhero, like your unconventional superhero stories that are different from like the normal that you see from like DC Comics or Marvel Comics through those mediums.
Yeah.
This is a good watch for you. This is a very good watch for you.
Yeah. I have a sign-off quote.
I will let you have the sign-off for that. But yeah, season 1 is currently out on Amazon Prime right now, with season 2 slated to be released sometime in September.
Yep. And we haven't spoiled everything. We've left a couple of surprises for you.
Yeah, like especially the ending, the cliffhanger to season 1. We're not going to go into details on that.
Oh my god!
There's a lot of meat to unpack from this grinder. I have so many questions.
Gosh, yeah.
But we shall see in season 2. So definitely go take a watch. As we said, it's on Amazon Prime's video service. If you have a subscription to Amazon Prime, it is free. Mm-hmm. It comes with a subscription, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this topic of the boys. Anything to conclude that with?
No.
All right.
Not at all.
So, thank you guys.
And I didn't expect to have such strong moral thoughts about it. Like, literally all I did to prepare for this was I watched it like a year ago and then came here and sat in my chair.
That's fair. But I mean, we watch it, we observe, we enjoy, we are sickened, but hey, we geek out about it, so obviously it has some kind of impact. Mm-hmm. So, thank you guys so much again for listening to this episode of the General Geekery Podcast. If you like what you listen to here, you guys can check us out wherever podcasts can be found. We're on Spreaker, we're on Spotify, we're on Stitcher, and if you don't have any of those streaming services for music or podcasts, you can check us out on youtube.com at Anime Rev Productions, which is my personal YouTube channel where I upload the episodes as well. You can check us out on social media at General Geekery on... oh crap, I lost it. General Geekery on Instagram, and
Yes.
Gen Geek Podcast on Facebook and Twitter.
Yep.
I almost got it mixed up again. I do this every time. I should have a list written down for this, but... Shame.
Also, is YouTube a website? YouTube.com?
Yeah.
Oh, YouTube.com.
Yeah, it confuses me sometimes too. We just call it YouTube, but it's just like, oh
Uh-huh.
there's a .com behind it.
There's some person listening right now that they're like, YouTube.com. I didn't know it was a website until just now. I'm totally giving you flag.
I know. It's okay. I left my...
https://youtube.com.
I did leave myself open for that, so that's fair. So, Hannah, where can they check you at?
Well, you can find me rolling dice with my party every Monday at 7:30 Central at twitch.tv/loadeddiceadventures. And you can also listen to my other podcast. It's the Splankniks podcast, which I do with my mom. And we talk about literature and art and tabletop gaming, all from the perspective of two different generations. It's a fun listen. It's it's one of the only podcasts I know of out there that it's like we talk about gaming, and we're two women, so we stand out from the crowd. Yep. And you could also check me out on Instagram at Pythian Legume.
Awesome. And you guys can check me out on social media at Twitter and Instagram at RyuzakiMK7. And you can also check me out on my personal Twitch channel as well at RyuzakiMK7. I play a variety of different games. Most of them are RPG-based, but it's always a fun time. I always enjoy talking with my chat room, and we just have a whole bunch of fun together. Just one of my recent streams, I was messing around with DLC costumes, and I had a little cat creature dressed up in a French maid outfit that was all red. So I was laughing for 20 minutes straight at the ridiculousness of that.
What is that one game that whenever I show up, I tell you to like put your character in a dress?
Oh, that was when my little brother was playing Bloodborne.
Oh right.
Yeah,
yes.
he was playing Bloodborne, and had the dress outfit, and then
you found it in a chest or something.
Yeah,
put it on.
And then I put it on when he wasn't looking. So.
Yep.
Amen.
Oh man.
It's good stuff. So, until next time, guys. This has been episode 37 of the General Geekery Podcast. Hannah, take us out.
All right. What is it you say? I don't know why you say this, but I'll say it. For Donald Kaczynski, I'm Hannah Kubiak, and always remember, don't you dare besmirch Billy Joel. And keep your geek on.
Always.
Clink, clink.
Dang you for ending with that quote. Bye, guys.
Bye.